So this is my guest room, which is kind of incredible to say. I've never had a guest room before. Like the rest of my house, it's very landlord special-y, and there are a lot of things about it that I'd like to change. Like this, and this, and this, and this, and this. But my little brother is coming for a visit really soon, and I don't have time to tackle any of the big projects. So we're ignoring the weird papery ceiling, and the white paint drenching everything, and the windows that are too small for this legally to be considered a bedroom, and we're gonna make it as cozy and welcoming as we can, on a tight budget, with less than a week to do it. I usually have some design inspiration when I start working on a room, but I don't have the time to design first and source later based on the inspiration, so we're just going to hit Facebook Marketplace and see what comes together. Here is everything I found in one late night scouring session, and brought home after about 4 straight hours of driving. A huge plexiglass moon, a feather duvet with a soft sage green cover, this incredible original painting from a local artist, a sweet little block print, also from a local artist, and some striped cafe curtains that fit my weird little basement windows perfectly. I dragged everything into a new Millinote board, and I really liked what emerged. It feels whimsical and dreamy, with a soft and sweet color palette that's anchored by the darker, more mature art. It feels like something I can continue building around by thrifting, making, and also cannibalizing things I already have in different parts of my house. Next, I'm going to try to ease the trapped in a haunted basement feel of these windows by cleaning out the window wells and adding some privacy with some faux leaded glass. I just finger painted little swirls to emulate wavy leaded glass, and I wasn't too precious about any of it, since it dries clear, and I've found that the more texture I add, the more I like the finished product. One could argue that changing out the ceiling light counts as tackling one of the bigger renovation projects, but the current light reminds me of every shitty apartment I've ever lived in, and I really, really, really want to change it. I found this light on Facebook Marketplace, still in the original packaging and only about an hour away from me. I didn't love the gold underside, even though I really liked the shape and the sort of schoolhouse adjacent feel that it had, so I decided to paint it a dark brown, which will definitely make it a little more dim, but hopefully the coziness will make up for it. Taking down the original light was really straightforward, but I immediately started struggling once it was time to install the new light. My camera thankfully died, so you don't have to witness the 2 hours my partner and I spent FaceTiming with my partner's dad, as we found out the hard way that we have no natural talent for electrical work. What I can show you is what happened after we finally stopped subjecting him to our incompetence. My partner left for work, and I decided to give it one last try.
Okay. Yes! 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 Okay. Yes.
At this point, I thought the hard part was over, and attaching the light fixture to the ceiling would be a quick and easy process. I was wrong.
Stuff all this up in here. Do-do-it. Do-do-it. Okay. Okay, we got this. Please go in the hole. Look. Oh no, 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 no. No, you got this. I'm really gonna need you to work. Fuck! Okay. Don't break. Oh my god. Fuck! Come on. Yes! Yes! Okay. Oh my god. Oh my god, yes. Okay. Holy shit. Okay, it's not gonna go all the way in. That's okay. That's okay. Oh, that looks so good. Okay.
Now that I've experienced the highs and lows of extremely basic electrical work, I'm going to do something with slightly lower stakes. I've been holding onto this broken mirror for months with the vague intention of turning it into something that I can hang on my wall. I'm going to start just playing around with some polymer clay until something occurs to me. And what eventually pops into my head is the thorny wild lemon trees that used to grow all around my house when I was growing up. The lemons were hard and small and sour to the point of being inedible. The thorns were unreasonably long and strong enough to do real damage if you caught yourself on one. They were generally considered to be a weed, but I loved them. I would find little hollows under the thorns to crawl into and crouch, imagining I was a witch, enchanting vicious little plants to twist into a living cocoon-like cave for me to live in, weaving my evil enchantments in peace and quiet. I did not have many friends. After I baked it, I definitely should have sanded it down, but I ended up immediately jumping into painting, layering different shades of brown acrylics to try to bring in some dimension. When I was happy with it, I found some UV resin that I've had sitting untouched for over a year. I'm not sure why I was so intimidated by it, but it was a ridiculously straightforward process. I quick cured it under UV lights that I already had for a different project, and then finished it outside. The part that turned out to be the most challenging was creating a back for the mirror, and I went through multiple failed clay iterations before deciding, fuck it, it's going against my wall, and no one but me will ever see the back. I finished it with scrap cardboard, scrap ribbon, and more E6000 than I ever should have handled without gloves or a mask. And here she is, my enchanted little thorn mirror in all her glory. I'm really happy with how she turned out, especially considering that while I've sculpted before, this was my first time using polymer clay, or, like I said, UV resin. The craftsmanship is very shoddy, but she's holding herself together. And honestly, that feels like something we have in common. Since the mirror was so fun, I'm going to make something else to try to bring in a little more color to the room. A few months ago, I painted the self-portrait of my hand with exaggerated pink knuckles because I've never grown out of my Egon Schiele phase, and I am tragically okay with being kind of derivative. It was fine for what it was, which was cheap acrylic craft paint over a Sharpie sketch, finished with a pen that I found at the bottom of my bag because I couldn't be bothered to find my good pens. But it didn't feel good enough for the wall, and also didn't do much to add texture to an already painting-heavy room. I'm going to loosely re-sketch it out on some scrap fabric that had at one point been a dress in a photo shoot that I worked on. I'm trying to keep a sort of dense, sketchy approach to my stitches to keep it textured, which is a look that I really like. Stop it. Stop. Stop it. Stop. Hey. Excuse me. Sir. I think that embroidering the background would have made it an objectively more interesting and complex piece, but time is short and I have tendinitis, so I'm calling it now that the hand is filled in. I'm really inspired by Tessa Perlow's amazing pieces that use beads or buttons and wire to create a frame, and I was thrilled when she shared a tutorial recently. I'm going to use a scrap of foam core to stretch the fabric over, and beads from a necklace that I thrifted in a bag of broken jewelry last year. This was my first time trying this particular approach to finish an embroidered piece, and it definitely wasn't perfect. I could tell how cheap the fabric was when it was time to stretch it over the foam core, and it didn't achieve the kind of crisp, taut look that would have been really easy with a thicker, higher quality fabric. But honestly, I really love it. Now that I've spent way too many hours on self-indulgent, decorative bits for the room, it feels important to tackle the more utilitarian things, like side tables and storage. The first side table was one that my partner found by the dumpster at our last apartment. It's a lovely little piece and slots in perfectly next to the daybed. I need another table for the other side, ideally with some storage space. Since everyone and their mother seems to have an IKEA Rast mini dresser on Facebook Marketplace, I decided a raw wood mini dresser, plus an old can of dark stain I had lying around, would equal eclectic, intentionally mismatched, dark wood furniture bliss. Or something like that.
Wait, why is it so wet? What the fuck? Oh, I fucking hate this. Oh shit. Okay.
At some point while sitting in my basement, this tin of stain had gone bad. I kept adding coats and hoping that I would stop hating it eventually. Did I stop hating it? No. Did I come to almost like it? No. Did I even bother to finish the knobs and put those back on so it's not a nightmare to try to open? No. But it'll do the job for now, and one day I'll come back and add the knobs and maybe try to do something better with it. Side table number 1, you are perfect. You're an angel. A little dumpster baby. And you've never done anything wrong ever in your life. Table number 2, fuck you. To reward myself for not throwing in the towel over the most minor of inconveniences, I'm going to treat myself by finding a local matting shop and getting some nice mats to spruce up some secondhand frames and old prints and photos that I already have. This place was so lovely. Not only did they let me bring my boy inside, but they matted everything within 30 minutes, and my son and I got to take a beautiful walk through a neighborhood in Denver while we waited.
You like?
The final bill came out to $94, which was a bit steeper than I hoped, but I couldn't be happier with how they turned out. They also gave me some extra mats that they had cut in the wrong white, and it was a queer and women-owned business, so I was happy to give them my $94. And oh my god, they are so gorgeous. I've had this little frog print for a long time, and I've never known quite what to do with it. I love how impactful it looks in the big frame, and I think that the frogs add some subtle fairy tale dreaminess without veering too far into nursery. The last 2 pictures are Polaroids that I took. One of a pigeon under a bridge, and one a glow-in-the-dark Jesus wearing a unicorn head. Neither of these have any thematic significance. I just really liked the purpley pink tones, and I think they'll tie in beautifully with the other art in the room. Obviously, no bedroom will ever achieve true coziness with the world's beigest carpet, so I had been looking for a rug since day one, and I had lost count of the inquiries that I'd sent out when I got the kindest message from a woman I'd talked to a few days before. She had decided to give away the rug that I had inquired about buying, and told me that if I saved her a trip to Goodwill, it was mine. My partner and I were coming off a full day at the Ren Fair, and she did not say a word when we showed up in full costume, elf ears and all, and I love her for that. The rug is beautiful, with lovely soft colors, and barely needed any cleaning to get it in good shape. With all of our major purchases taken care of, and a little bit of my budget left, I decided to give in to my whimsical desires, and drove an hour out of town to pick up this beautiful Heiko rabbit lamp. Between the rabbit and the moon, it really feels like we're hitting the lighter, more whimsical fairy tale notes, so I dug through my framed art to find some pieces that would bring in a darker sort of whimsy. Both of these paintings, Three Satyr Masks by Han Toma? I'm not sure, and Tragedy by Klimt are in the public domain, and I downloaded both of these from the free version of Artvee sometime last year. I had them printed at my local print shop in sizes that would fit thrifted frames I already had, and they were already some of my favorite small pieces of art in my house, but I love them so much more in the context of this room. Then I just went around my house stealing stuff from myself. Finally, it was time to start gathering the finishing touches. On an unrelated IKEA run for another room in the house, I had picked up this pleasing little picture that had been a floor model. I hit the thrift store on the way home and found these sweet little juice glasses and a pale green-footed ceramic tray that fit the glasses and picture perfectly. I also picked up a ceramic vase and those rich browns I'm so obsessed with, and this lovely embossed silver box that I thought would be perfect for tucking away those "oh shit, I forgot to pack that" necessities. At this point, my budget was basically tapped. My brother's arrival date was fast approaching, and it was time to finally put it all together.
Oh! That looks really good. Yes!
And here it is, the guest room. Just a reminder of where we started versus where we are now. Do I still want to paint the walls and strip the baseboards and replace the ceiling and pull up all the carpet and put in new windows? Yes. Really, really badly. But life happens in increments, and in a house with multiple big, scary, disruptive projects ongoing, having a room feel this welcoming and peaceful and, for the moment, done feels really good. So yes, she's imperfect and unfinished and still a bit empty in corners, but I think she's marvelous.